So this guy goes, hey, you guys, can we not just celebrate the fact that I was blind and now I see? I mean, can we not just kind of rejoice in the fact that I can see now? I mean, you guys are like the religious leaders. I mean, don't you think that you guys would be giving glory to God? Don't you think you guys would be wanting to celebrate what's going on today? I mean, can we just pause? I mean, are you making it all about that fact that I didn't fit into your box, that I didn't fit into your worldview? I mean, this is huge. This man used to sit on the side of the road begging and collecting alms. This guy's never jumped and played with his friends. He's never been able to be independent. He's never been able to do all the things a lot of people have done. And his parents have wondered what happens when we die, when we can't take care of him. And now he can see. Or is it that the God you've taught us about isn't really who God is at all? And so they said this. Instead of on this glorious day them doing something and great, and instead of them worshiping God, look at what they do. Next verse. They start to ridicule him. They start to shout out. They start to absolutely shun him with negative things that they're saying to him. And then they say this. They say, hey, you're that fellow's disciple. You follow him. We follow Moses. We know that Moses is real, but we don't even know where this guy comes from. And you stop and you say, how do you guys know about Moses? Moses was 800 years ago. The only reason you know that Moses is a guy that God spoke to is because your mom told you, and her mom before her told her, and the mom before that, the dad before that, and generations before. But you take that by faith, and now you have a miracle right here in front of you. You have something undeniable that God's done, and you won't glorify God, and you won't see God for what he's really doing, and you won't do what really needs to be done here, and that is expand your box. And so the guy says, that's remarkable. The guy that was born blind. He says, that's remarkable because you know what? You say that it's all about Moses, but the guy opened my eyes. And how is it that God, we know that God doesn't even speak to sinners. Well, that's bad theology. That's not right. He was taught that by the religious leaders. And we know that God only speaks to people who are godly. Well, that's not right either. And he says, so how can it be if this man wasn't from God, he couldn't have done nothing? Have you ever heard of anybody being born blind that's been healed before? And so they got really mad, and it kind of heats up more and more and more, and they wind up throwing him out of the synagogue. Now that's huge, because that means that now this guy doesn't get atonement for sins. He can't take part in the ceremonial sacrificial system. He is a guy who can't even get certain jobs in the temple on the day that he was just healed. I mean, this is a guy who's experienced tons of rejection in the past. Now he's got tons of rejection to go through before. So boom, he's out of the synagogue.